AC Sports Live is brought to you by All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. Earn your Class A and Class B license and endorsements with courses online and in person in the city of Long Beach. Call or visit the website 909-708-4861 www.allincdotraining.com. If you're unemployed, underemployed, or just want to change a career, scholarships are available, so don't worry about the cost. Give them a call. All In CDO Training, the future of commercial driving. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Mood Swing Apparel, DEM Clothing. Dominate every matchup, period. Check them out, Mood Swing Apparel on Instagram. AC Sports Live is also brought to you by Cannon Nation Boxing. If you want to learn the sweet science of boxing, or if you just want to get a real good workout in, working out and training with pros, check out CannonNationBoxing.com and become the best version of yourself today.
He ain't never slumber, never put him to the test. He be reigning king forever, resurrected after death. All praise to God, brother, say it with your chest. Say it with your chest, all praise to the one.
Yes, sir.
Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Welcome to AC Sports Live. I'm AC, and this is the first episode of the 2026 season. Season 6, Episode 1, Episode 231. 6 seasons strong, 6 seasons long. Appreciate your support. Appreciate you tuning in. Everything is everything, being the first episode of the year, January 6th, 3 days before your boy turns 52. January 9th, this Friday. We've got some football to watch on my birthday, so I'm going to have a really good day. Yes, I said it, 52. I told one of my students today, yeah, I'll be turning 52 on Friday. They said 52 is crazy. I was like, yeah, I'm old enough to be your grandpa, so respect your elders. All right, y'all. Let me find my slate. Oh, wow. I've been muted the whole time. Appreciate that. That's why you need a producer. Happy Boy gets production credits. I wanted to say the Mooly is in the building. My OG. The Mooly Alexander Sr. I appreciate you tuning in to the service. And Happy Boy, being the ultimate Cowboys fan, is rooting for the NFC East. That's because he probably knows a lot of Niners fans. He don't know a whole lot of Eagles fans. He might know me and a couple other cats, but them Niners fans they're just as obnoxious as the Eagles fans in Philly. Them bang bang Niner gang dudes, man. Them dudes they're annoying. So we got to put some pass rush on Brock Purdy this weekend. And once again, Happy Boy gets a production credit. Chris Alexander, I appreciate that, my brother. And my message for that Sunday is everything new in Yeshua, man. It's a new year. Move forward, man. Let's leave some of that foolishness in the back in 2025. Let's step into our newness, man. It's a real deal. NFL playoffs as they stand. Let me throw that up there. And you'll be surprised, man. I don't even think I have my Eagles winning this thing, man. Just looking at all the potential matchups. So the brackets, I'm taking this from the grind and the gridiron on the Bleacher Report. So please don't shut me down. Nobody's getting paid. This is for the love of the game. And just going down the list, man. Rams, Panthers in Carolina. That's going to be tough. But it'll be Bryce Young's first trip to the dance versus Matt Stafford, who's been there, done that. I got the Rams beating the Panthers. Philly versus San Fran in Philly in the cold. Brock Purdy versus my Philadelphia defensive line. If our offense can score 17 points, we should be all right. Eagles over the Niners. Green Bay versus the Bears. Caleb Williams first dance. Jordan Love and the Packers have been reeling. No Micah Parsons. Crazy saying this, but the Bears over the Packers. In the AFC, got Steelers versus the Texans. That defense for the Texans is kind of crazy, man. I mean, they are probably the most complete defense in the league. And Pittsburgh backpedaled in, saved Mike Tomlin's job by beating the Ravens, but the Ravens beat themselves. That was a chip shot. That kid missed that field goal. So I'm going to go Texans over the Steelers. Buffalo versus Jacksonville. Josh Allen versus the Jacksonville defense. I don't necessarily believe in Jacksonville and Duval. I'm going to go Buffalo over Jacksonville. Chargers, Patriots too much. Patriots over the Chargers by 2 tubs. So we got Patriots versus Bills. It will be at New England. I'm going to say Patriots over the Bills. I'm going to go with the youngster, Drake May. Texans and Denver. Denver, the number 1 seed in the AFC. That's going to be tough. At Denver, will Houston have enough offense? With Denver's pass rush, they're going to be on C.J. Stroud's head. He would have to have the game of his life. I don't think he's there just yet. Maybe a couple years away. Denver over Houston. Patriots over the Bills. Denver versus New England in the AFC Championship game. On the NFC side, Rams versus Seahawks. I got Cold weather won't make a difference. Both teams playing cold weather. I'm going with the Eagles. Probably be the home team favorite. I got Eagles, Seahawks, Broncos, Patriots. Philly going to Seattle will be tough. New England going to Denver will be tough. We might mess around. Let's go with the being a homer. Eagles, Patriots once again. Eagles, Patriots once again. Can we do the unthinkable with this offensive coordinator? If I'm betting $2, I got us getting beat a little bit earlier. I got us getting beat a lot earlier. The way we've been playing offensively, we should go home in week 1. We really should go home in week 1. We've been terrible. We need a new OC. Can't put it no other way. And that's how the Ravens got Harbaugh fired today. Harbaugh would not get off his offensive coordinator. He said, he's my guy. And they said, well, if that's the case, then you're fired. Cold world, man. So realistically, the Eagles lose first round to the Niners because we just can't put points on the board. We can't score 21 points. So realistically, I could see us getting beat. As a homer, I'm saying we're going to the Super Bowl. And then we'll let the chips fall where they may. Eagles, Patriots. Of course, I'm going for the Eagles. But is that something I would bet my life on? No. It would be Seahawks, Patriots in the championship game. And Sam Darnold versus Drake May in San Francisco. I think that's where the Super Bowl is being played this year. Wow, man. Patriots already? I think they're ahead of schedule. Way ahead of schedule. It should be fun, man. No Chiefs. It won't be no Patrick Mahomes. That's good. We're going to have some parity just like in college football playoffs. No Ohio State, no Bama. I got Miami winning the whole thing. The U winning the whole thing. 2 pass rushers destroying games. And if not the U, is Indiana, the easy choice. The most complete team is Indiana. Oh, that's why I love football, man. It's the ultimate team game. Mooley said the Buffalo Bills. Casey marching here. He said, go Birds. I hope it's go Birds. I hope it's go Birds. Neil says Giants should hire him ASAP. I think Harbaugh will end up in Vegas and Stefanski will end up in Baltimore. There's a couple other jobs open. The Falcons job is open. The Titans job is open. The Cardinals job is open. So a lot of these guys who just got fired are going to get an offer before Friday. I think before the end of Friday, John Harbaugh will be the head coach of one of these franchises. My guess is the Raiders. That way you get Jim Harbaugh and John Harbaugh in the same division, and you get easy storylines. And it's about storylines. Storylines sell. I watched the Raiders play, the Chargers a little bit more closely because it's brother on brother. That would be pretty cool to watch. So the coach is getting fired. And I mean, the Harbaugh firing was pretty crazy because 18 seasons and all the success he's had, even the last 5 years, he's been in the mix. He's only missed the playoffs this one time. I think they went 10-7 last year. And this year they missed the playoffs by a field goal from a 22-year-old kid. It's a tough business, man. Like I said, cold world. Very tough. But we are here. My Eagles are in it. We got Lane Johnson coming back. We got Nakobe Dean coming back. So we should be full throttle. Now I just need the offensive game plan to be beyond 20 plays scripted and some creativity when it's 3rd and 5. and guys not running fade routes on 3rd and 5. I mean, where are the crossers? Where are the deep crossers? Where are the pick plays? Did they not watch last year's film? You just can't throw out your receivers out there just to run straight line routes. Like, there has to be some creativity in there. Get these guys open and not hoping for a one-on-one 50-50 ball all the time. Yeah, Mooley, everything new, including new offensive coordinator, new coaches. Portal madness. Speaking on everything new. All right, so there are close to 5,000 kids in the football transfer portal. And it's crazy because there are not 5,000 spots available because you have the incoming freshmen from high school. Now, not many teams are bringing in a bunch of high school kids unless the kids are 4 or 5 star. Smaller schools, we're bringing in 3-star kids. But my concern, man, is where does it end? These 1-year deals, something has to be done. I love the power that it gave the student athletes. But what we asked for and then what we got feels like two different things. We wanted to have the ability to maximize our money and what we could possibly get on the open market. But I didn't foresee this. When they said we were going to get our image and likeness money, when Ed O'Bannon partnered up with Ramogi Huma and the collective of player personnel that went after the NCAA, when Ed O'Bannon didn't get a red cent for the NCAA basketball video game, and then the floodgates were opened, and here we are. NIL came with an open transfer portal, and that was something I was like, well, could you have one without the other? And I want to talk about this next week when we have Chris Rubio on the show. He was going to come on tonight, but he was celebrating with his son, who's at Montana, and Montana won the FCS national championship last night. It was a great game. I saw a lot of great players making some crazy plays, and I'm just thinking all these kids are going to jump in the portal, because now that you've shown yourself to be a baller on the FCS level, you can now go get paid on the FBS level. It's nothing. No penalty. Just jump ship and go get paid. You may not be even a star at the next level, but you'll get paid $500,000. And then you could probably come back to a small school if it don't work out. I'm all for the movement when it's justified and necessary. I text Rubio tonight as we talked briefly about what we're going to talk about. And I was like, but what makes me a little bit concerned is when a kid has a great situation and that team offers them money to stay. Like, here's some money to hold you over. That way you don't have to go chase the money. You're chasing a situation, or you're chasing a few more dollars. I would hope what Coach Prime resonates, what Coach Prime said about chase the game. Don't chase the bag, chase the game. Playing time versus an impossible situation. I think we're missing what's really happening in a lot of these teams and the conversations that are being had between players and coaches. Relationships that have been formed or not formed. Kneecap, biting, with the smoking. What's good? Kneecap biting, scrapping. I wish we could have just transfer like these days. Okay, so now this is what I wanted to get at. See, the Mooly and myself and guys that had stellar high school careers got to places like UCLA that had 3 and 4 deep at our position. Smoking Jeremy B, what's up, brother? And you have a little bit of a issue with the coach. In our case, it was the late great Terry Donahue. Mooly had his issues with him. I had my issues with him. And sometimes it's just best for you to leave because the relationship has been severed and it can never be like fixed. And we were just kids, man. We were just 19, 20-year-old kids. And here we got the most powerful man in California and we're in his doghouse. What can you do with that? And I saw a lot of guys placed on medical red shirt or medical retirement because they just weren't going to play them. They didn't cut nobody. But once they wanted to get rid of you, they would either check out your grades and say your grades weren't good enough and they call you into the chancellor's office. Because remember, when I was getting screwed, I had one bad grade and they called me into the chancellor's office. They even called me in to see if I was being courted by an agent because I was driving my girlfriend's car, who's now my wife. Like they were finding like little stuff. And then the rubber hit the road when he said, if you don't do what I say, you're not going to play. And I was just kind of like, are you serious? Like everybody in front of me is graduating. I'm going to be one of your guys. That this is when they couldn't bring in a bunch of kids in spring ball. I only saw them bring in one player. Like I think it was Donovan Gallatin came in spring ball from Elko and play safety. If we had a transfer portal in our day, I know a lot of guys would have left without sitting out 2 years for conference play. These dudes transferring and playing immediately. Neil said maybe make it a minimum 2-year contract. Yeah, something has to be done. Something has to be done. And I know the Mooly wants to come on the show and really break it down, but I have to be really cautious because my son is in the mix right now. My son is in the portal right now. And if I come across as the angry dad who wants to expose everything, he could very well get blackballed. And it's not even, that's like, it ain't even like that. My son is a coach's dream, but he has not fit in both of his schools. So he's not chasing a bag. He's chasing a fit. He's chasing a situation that fits his talent. Right now, he's a hybrid, which causes a little bit of a problem. It will take a visionary coach to see how do you use 6'3", 6'4", 225, and runs a 10-800 meters. How do you use a kid like that who has limited experience because he was a basketball player? And then the thought process is, well, it's easier for a basketball player to play tight end than it is for him to play defensive end or outside linebacker. So we're in a situation, but I think he's gotten good enough and learned the game fast enough to find a spot. So being in the portal, even though with 5,000 kids in there, it's kind of scary. But I'm looking through my son's stuff, man, as I'm cleaning the house out. In his first year at San Jose State, his first 2 years at San Jose State, they were going to develop him with Coach Brent Brennan was my guy at UCLA, and he signed my son. His workbooks, man. And I know this kid is going to be successful. When I tell you this kid wrote notes upon notes, everything the coach said, he wrote that mess down. And I've been to my share of meetings, man, and I'm not writing down everything the coach says. He's literally writing down every single thing the coach says and buying the brand. He was coming home reciting the things that his coaches were saying to him. And then he was asked to leave because we're going to out recruit you. We know you're about a year away because of your experience or lack thereof, but you have the size and the speed, the acumen. You're a 4.0 student. You're exactly what this program needs, but we're going to bring in a kid who's played a lot more football. So we're going to ask you to leave. So of the 5,000 kids in the portal, imagine how many of those kids have had the same conversation. So it's both sides. A lot of kids who have a great situation and want something better. The grass is not always greener. And then there are those kids who get lost in the shuffle. I just saw a kid from Kansas State who just got there, and the new coaching staff came in and they said, yeah, we're going to release you. He didn't get a chance to even play. He redshirted and he was going to go into his first winter workouts and spring ball. And he's on the streets in the portal. It is a crazy, crazy time, man. Crazy, crazy time. I see you, Big J. You're a sports journalist about an NFL. I cover a total of 3 teams now. Oh, sweet. That's why you've been absent. You've been working. Keep up the good work, man. Who you got? Buccaneers, Jaguars, and Lions. That's awesome, man. That's living the dream. When I was doing TV, Fox Sports 1, I was living the dream, man. I wasn't even working. I was doing what I already do, which the transfer portal kids still had to sit out. Something has to be done so it's just not willy-nilly. You just can't jump in there, because now they've made it so the school can't do anything about it. The school is required by law to file the paperwork. If there was a penalty, like when I was getting screwed at UCLA, somebody brought up, man, you should just transfer. I'm not sure if it was JJ Stokes or Brian Adams. He said, man, you still not getting, like, I wasn't even traveling, man. After I had my verbal conversation and disagreement with Coach Donahue, I didn't travel the rest of the season. And I was backing up Kevin Jordan, JJ Stokes, and Mike Wynn, and Brian Adams was hurt, and Avery Anderson was hurt. So I was like number 5 of the receiving corps. And I'm having pretty good practices. I caught a slant across the middle, got blew up, held onto the ball, pointed for first down, having a good week. And then come around Friday, I didn't have a travel bag. And Stokes was like, yo, you not going to the game? And I went to Coach Neuheisel and was like, yo, why am I not going to the game? He said, oh, yeah, you're down this week. And before you know it, 1 week became 4 weeks. And that becomes hard. That becomes where you start rethinking your life and your worth. And am I good enough to play this game? You begin to start thinking you're not good. And I had a terrible receiver coach after Neuheisel was Norm Anderson. Terrible. I mean, didn't see anybody except the starters. And we were out there trying really, really hard. It's funny because when I see him in person today, he still doesn't acknowledge me. And that's where the relationships come in and the lack thereof. So when a kid says the writing is on the wall, they don't see me, you almost have to get out of Dodge, because your future could be wasted away. I've seen guys' whole career wasted away as they sit in that meeting room, as they practice as hard as they can, and their coach doesn't see them. That could be long-term mental health issues festering, man. And that's why I don't get mad when kids jump in the portal and we don't know why. Even when a kid is in a situation where you think it should be all gravy, everything should be all good, we don't know. We don't know what's being said to that kid. Like, I've heard some cruel things in the meeting. some things that will make a kid rethink his entire existence. So I know that we don't know everything. I saw a post, I think Uncle Luke, the rap mogul, hip hop mogul, who was very connected to the University of Miami through the 90s, saying that 80% of the kids in the portal were cut. It just hasn't been called cut. It's been called pushed out. It's been called phased out. You can't cut kids because your program will take a black eye. And kids can't say anything because that kid would be blackballed. So the best thing to do is say, I'm looking for a better fit. It wasn't that I wasn't running from competition. But sometimes there's no competition. Like for me, I'm out there competing. I'm diving for the ball. I'm getting blown up. I'm running scout team, trying to get back on the rotation. And it just never happened. Mooley said that's what happened after I broke the record. We could not understand why Chris Alexander was no longer playing. They put in Ricky Davis, they put in Darren Washington, they put everybody in except Chris, and we were like, what is really going on? And we sitting around and we can't even say anything. The only time we were able to stand up is when they wouldn't let Chris play and they let Wayne Cook play. And they were in the same class. They failed the same class. They went and got the test redone. And they were like, okay, now they both can play. No, Wayne's playing, Chris ain't playing. We had a black player walk out at UCLA. And UCLA is a hotbed for civil rights, just like Cal Berkeley's a hotbed for civil rights activity. And I believe the late, great Gary Walton and Kim Longhorn and them type of guys was like, all you freshmen better step up. And when we say get up, we all gonna get up. And we were like, what is going on here? So we gonna fight for Chris. And we were like, what you mean? We gonna all go to the tennis center. As soon as Coach Donnie, start the meeting, we gonna all get up and leave. We were like, cool, I'm with the movement. I hope this don't cost me my scholarship. So we all get up, and this is where it's power in solidarity, man. It's power in unity. We all got up, and Coach Donahue was like, what's going on here? What y'all doing? And I think it was Von Parker who said, Coach, we don't think it's right that Wayne gets to play and Chris don't play. If he don't play, we not playing. And we stepped out the meeting room and walked out that bad boy like Malcolm X in the Nation of Islam. And we walked over to the tennis center, and he came over there, was like, what's going on, man? And then I think Donnie Edwards spoke, and a couple other guys spoke. Kevin Williams spoke, and he's gone too, rest in peace. All these guys, I don't know, was he still there, or did he graduate? But anyway, our senior leadership guys stood up and said, you know, from us wearing little sweaters and collared shirts to us having to shave our facial hair, all these little things for you to keep your thumb on our heads to make us, I think Avery said, little Terry Donahues. And I'm not trying to speak ill of the dead. You know, Terry Donahue did some great things and he helped me out. But this is what happened. And he said, if that's what you guys are upset about, then I can make sure that it's fair across the board that they both play. But I just want to make sure you guys are still part of this program. We're like, no, we part of this program as soon as things are right. So like Marvin Goodwin, them type of guys were like, as soon as everything is straight, we straight. I tell you, that whole team, after that, we didn't have to wear them little sweaters no more. We didn't have to shave our facial hair anymore. He let us wear towels. He was like shook. Like, if these kids revolt, we don't have a team. And I mean, that was my first experience with protest, and a successful protest, because it was immediate and it got results. And it was not hijacked by somebody else's message. It was clear. We don't think it's fair that our white quarterback gets to play and our black running back can't. And they had the same situation. So we stood up. got some action. And that's why it really opened my eyes to, how things get done when it comes to an unfair judgment, and how if we really want something done, it can get done. But we off the all, like when Kaepernick stuff was going on and you had guys like Dak Prescott and Cam Newton, them guys saying, nah, bro, my money too good, I can't do this. That's why it was hijacked. That's why the message was hijacked and it wasn't successful. Keith Lewis in here. What's up, brother? Waiting to ask you, has Coach Chesney sent you some new swag? Nah, heck no. He was reaching out to some of the past players. Nah, man, I'm waiting for James Washington to hook us up with a Zoom and see how we can get that going, because even when Deshaun Foster was a head coach, they actually reached out to us to come by and get some gear. I haven't received any information. They had their first team meeting today, and so hopefully I'll hear from somebody at some point. I know it's a brand new regime and nobody we know is still on the staff. When Jolie retired, we all got disconnected from the program. I've been meaning to go up there. I've been meaning to Bogart up there with my son and say, look, if y'all want to get legacy kids in the program, there's some legacy kids in the portal. But I see they're signing every James Madison player they can, and then they'll probably come back around the block and see who's local and who can help fill out this roster, because we did lose a lot of kids to the portal with the changing of my coaches. But I hope they hook us up with some gear. I hope so. Yeah, Moody, was fun times, wasn't it? Fun times. Sometimes it's more about the fit than the culture. Culture is a whole nother ball game when it comes to why kids leave. I know when Coach Prime took over Colorado, the culture changed, and some of the kids didn't sign up for that culture, so they dipped. But some kids who were built like that were cool. Like, I like to compete every day. I wanted to be, coaches out here cussing kids out, getting them right, getting them going. That's normal inner city environment coaching. But competition is one thing. But when the coach, I think Nick Saban was notorious for this. It's a competition until he makes his decision. And then once he makes his decision, there's no competition the rest of that season unless there's an injury. So my buddy Earl Little, his son is Earl Little Jr. He was at Alabama his first 2 years, but he could never get on the field. This is a 5-star NFL player if given an opportunity to play. And he had the guts to talk to Nick Saban one-on-one and say, hey, I've earned that job. I'm better than the guy you brought in here on the NIL deal. And Nick Saban says, you think so? He's like, I know so. And this is right before Nick Saban retired. And then, of course, he transfers to Florida State and becomes an all ACC player. Now he's an NFL prospect, can go pro if he wants to, but he's going to stay at Florida State. When a coach is done with you or doesn't believe your worth is more than the person that they brought in, there's no competition. And that's when a lot of kids say, well, if there's no competition, I have to leave. And that's why they say you might want to leave, because you're not going to get a chance to compete. That's the part that is not being talked about. I went through that. I was not allowed to compete. I was scratched off the board because I didn't agree with Coach Donahue. For the betterment of the team, I need you to play corner. We just lost Bobby Gamble. We just lost Teddy Lawrence. We lost all our cornerbacks 1 week. And Coach Donahue says, I need you to play corner because we are just thin and you're the most athletic receiver. And I'm like, you crazy, coach. I ain't playing no DB. I came here to play wide receiver. And at my high school at Long Beach Poly, you don't play both ways. And he's like, but you could start. I was like, that's cool, but I will be out there not knowing how to play. That would be crazy for me to play Division I football at this level for the very first time, and y'all throw me in the game at corner? You crazy, coach, was my last thing I said, and I didn't see the field the rest of the year. And I did not know the effects of what I said in the moment. And I thought we were cool because this is the same man that came to my house and told my mom he would take care of me and make sure I get a good opportunity to play ball. And it wasn't until AJ Kristoff bumped into me in the hallway and said, I see what they're doing to you. It's a shame because you're a great athlete. You're tough, you're fast, you're big, you're strong. But the only way you play at UCLA is if you move to DB. And I was like, wow, when was somebody going to tell me? And he said they weren't. You were just going to finish out your years and they were just going to let you go through the program and never having played. I was like, wow. So if there was a transfer portal, best believe I would have been in it. But since there wasn't, and I had to weigh the options, I did a story with Art Thompson III, AT3, and he's like, are you debating transferring? I'm like, if I transfer, I'll lose a year. And then I'll be a junior. And then before you know it, I'll be a senior. And I still don't know if I can get a scholarship somewhere else because there was no internet like this yet. Like there was no Twitter. There was no way to contact other schools until you were actually on the street. So situations are unique. So before people cast judgment on the kids, understand there are a lot of bad relationships in these environments. We said they threw me over there with you guys before they realized that there's no more running. That's right. You were doing defensive back drills. And we were like, what's going on here? This man had 200 yards rushing. Why is he doing DB drills? This man is part of the fastest 4x100 meter relay team in the history of high school sports, and you ain't giving him the ball? We didn't say nothing. We just kept it pushing. Don't ruffle no feathers because you'll be in the doghouse too. That fear part is real too. The fear of being put in that same doghouse. Because you saw some dudes in the doghouse. Their life was miserable. You practicing hard with no chance of being seen. Never having your name called in a meeting for anything good. It's always for something like, what are you doing on this play? Like, and it's more like justification of why you're not playing. Well, if it isn't Joe, the policeman from the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mom. Well, if it ain't, oh man, don't have me quoting Coming to America, man. Don't make me go there, bro. Hey, appreciate that, Big Rod Sauce. Happy New Year to you, my brother. Oh man, don't have me watch that movie tonight. From the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama. Between 10 shows a week on YouTube, writing 6 articles a week, and still working a day job. Not much time to jump on. Hey, man, I appreciate you coming on and gracing us with your presence tonight. I appreciate that, man. Willie said exactly. Done wrong. Look. Politics at its finest. The politics in the portal could be a movie. I think the coaches that are mad. My Tender Love report is coaches mad at the portal. Nobody can really be upset, man. Sometimes it's because teams don't invest and develop them. So a student needs to do what's best for them. Exactly. I told my son, you got 2 years left. What do you want to do? You want to power through it? Or you want to find somewhere where you're really going to be seen? Because you asked a simple question, where do you see me? And the answer wasn't very positive. So I said, well, there's your answer. You thank those who got you there. You thank them for the opportunity and the experience. He had an awesome experience at Delaware State. But the situation just wasn't in his favor. Nothing wrong. I mean, Deshaun Jackson has a wonderful team. Structure and culture and all that stuff. The team won. They were winning. Guys are getting out. Guys are getting bigger, better offers and all that stuff. He didn't leave just to get a better school. We just went to get a better situation. And there shouldn't be any hard feelings for coaches. Should not be upset when kids feel like this is not how I want to spend my college years. I'm thankful I stayed at UCLA because I powered through it and I found a coach on the staff that gave me a chance. Another thing that's very important is somebody on that staff has to resonate with your situation and give you a chance regardless of what the other coaches say. And that's why I was very thankful to Coach Bob Fields and AJ Kristoff. They said, come over here and we'll play the best players. And Coach Kristoff was like, I'll play a pissant freshman. If you guys won't get it together, I'll play this freshman. The freshman was Andy Colbert. Now his name is Kusanti Abdul-Salam. He said, if he's going to work hard and get after that ball and tackle somebody, I'm going to put him in. And he did. And then Kusanti never get that job back. He was always going to be in the mix because he came in with a dog, with a chip on his shoulder. And the coach loved that. I saw that. I said, well, shoot, if that's what he wants, I can give him that. And before you know it, I'm starting. I'm playing corner versus Keyshawn Johnson in the Coliseum. Goal line, 1 DB. I was the only DB because Sean Williams got hurt. And I was taking notes. I was ready. I'm playing one-on-one versus the number one receiver in the country. He gave me a chance, and I'm forever grateful for that. Those things you can't make up if you're not developed. The problem with the NIL and the portal is these kids are not going to be developed, and they probably won't graduate. So there definitely needs to be some type of 2-year contract or something. When we say I'm willing to really go over all of that in detail and what was really being told to me. Just let me know and we can have a great UCLA sit down, huddle up talk. Hey man, once I get my kids situated, I know we're going to open up a lot of, conversations that were being had at almost every college in America. You imagine 150 kids per team per year from the beginning of time. With all the money, like the kids that were getting paid in the Big 12, Eric Dickerson and them guys getting paid, and all the kids that were being looked over when they were starting to bring in these superstar players, and the kids who've been there 4 years working hard still don't get to play because some superstar kid comes in. It's a lot, man. Books could be written of guys who are telling stories. Great times for sure, absolutely. Womack, Woma tracks. What about getting recruited to be played against? Man, they recruit you so you can't go to the other school. Never intended for you to play. That is crazy, man. As I requested to go in the portal, but was not allowed to transfer to any schools UCLA played in the next 5 years. What? So you actually asked to leave. So how was your treatment after you asked to leave? It's suicide, man. You're basically saying I don't want to play anymore. He announced I went from the outhouse to the penthouse back to the outhouse for performing to maximum potential. It was crazy, man. Crazy times. I loved being on the scout team. Lots of reps and got me ready. I maximized my scout time. I looked forward to being the opposing team's best player. every week when I was a true freshman. And I was being gassed up that I was going to be the next as I watched LaChapelle and them guys, tear it up. I get off my red shirt. I'm in the mix. I'm running decoy deep balls as a redshirt freshman. I'm outplaying the other youngsters. I'm on the field. I played every game as a redshirt freshman. And in my redshirt sophomore year, I had that situation. I think it was what game was it? Game 3 or 4. And everybody started getting hurt. And then, boom, no longer in the mix. Just like that. San Diego State, you was ready. And that was that Marshall Faulk game. Man, he was on it. And, good times, good memories. We had a great group of dudes. But the politics that we had to endure was transfer portal material. D-Dub would have been in the portal. Mooley would have been in the portal. I would have been in the portal. Derek Ayers would have been in the portal. Who else was getting screwed around a little bit? Avery Anderson would have been in the portal because after he dropped them 2 rocks, he was never back in the mix. And Avery was a baller. He just had a confidence issue catching the ball. But once he got his confidence, he was a killer. He was an NFL guy. But once they told him he wasn't the guy no more and they moved on from him, man, dudes was just there, existing. And we had so many guys from my class that didn't graduate because they turned out to be high school phenoms, but college busts. So we had guys on medical retirement, but they weren't hurt. They wanted to use that scholarship to bring somebody else in, but you could only do it by putting a kid on medical. So they were putting kids on medical on an ankle injury and bringing somebody in that spot. It's a lot, man. Politics is real. And it has really, really made this transfer portal cycle crazy. Falk would have had 1 year left and I ran the same offense. No one knew, but I wanted to transfer to San Diego State. That would have been a good spot. You would have been in the same mix because they ran the same offense for your skill set. Definitely would have been something crazy. Jay Moore was in here. Mooley went to the portal. Mooley, before there was a portal. So we didn't know that stuff was going on. Did anybody transfer from us? Like, did anybody up and transfer while we were there? That's crazy, man. So that's where we are with the portal. Again, it's going to get crazier. It's going to close, I think, in 10 days. And that just means the kids who are not still playing have until the 16th to enter their name. Once all those names are entered and all these schools are recruiting their players and they're offering all these players, it turns into high school again. Meaning they'll over offer each position, knowing they will only get 1, maybe 2 commits. And then they still have to get the kid to sign the paperwork. And when other schools can come in the 9th hour with a briefcase full of cash, anything's possible. And everybody's playing for their next payday. I will hope to believe a kid like mine who just wants to play, who wants to be developed. Like, he wants to go play for Jason Taylor so bad at Miami because he knows that's going to be a situation where he will learn how to play speed rusher, speed outside backer that comes off the edge, drops in the coverage once in a blue moon, but he's coming off the edge. And a person that's, a speed guy who understands, a guy that can run. Ryan Feen hit the portal. He sure did leave, didn't he? Where did he end up? Did he play? Bert Emanuel was a quarterback at UCLA and transferred to Rice. We know why. We know why he transferred to Rice. They tried to serve Bert into a wide receiver. And didn't he play in the NFL as a wide receiver? And that's what made me mad, man. As soon as I moved to defense, I'm playing with a chip on my shoulder, mad. Because now I have to learn how to backpedal. And in one of those first few practices at defense, like going to the meetings for the first time, hearing the terminology, I'm trying to tell you, man, at Long Beach Poly, you don't play both ways. So I never went to a defensive meeting. I didn't know any of that stuff. All I knew was how to beat them dudes. I knew how to beat cover 2, beat cover 3, beat man to man. I went to defense fresh off the boat. I got an interception in the 7-on-7 live period. I think I was playing quarters. I knew the routes because I played offense. So all I did was read the release of my 2 receivers on my side. I felt the skinny with a slant underneath it. I played the quarterback's shoulder and I picked it off. Hand the ball back to our GA, run back to the huddle, and Coach Donahue comes over and says, "See, I told you, you'd be a good DB." And I was so mad. But at the same time, glad, because there was no politics over there. And that's why I pushed my son to play defense when he started playing football. I was like, well, if you play tight end, there's no guarantee you're going to get the ball. Just like in high school, he didn't get the ball. But on defense, you can make a difference by just pressuring the quarterback. And you can be praised for just being aggressive and active. And he felt that immediately. He joined the football team, had 3 practices, and Coach Lars said, well, he's a basketball player and he's been practicing with the basketball team, so he's in shape. So he can play Friday if he wants to. And the rest is history. I think he had like 5 hurries his first game. No sacks, but 5 hurries. So he was getting back there without even knowing how to play. So politics on offense, crazy, man. There's nothing you can do. Defensively, you can do something about it, playing special teams and stuff like that. Why do I think Ole Miss wins it all? Because their quarterback has the best name in college football right now. Trinidad Chambliss. That has to be the coldest name right now. Trinidad Chambliss. And Ole Miss got some cold uniforms, in my opinion. That white camo with the red and the light blue. Oh man, the colors remind me of Delaware State, but of course, Ole Miss is Ole Miss. They got a lot more resources, also known as money. And Trinidad Chambliss, man, he's a killer. And he's trying to get his year back so he can come back and play. I'm sure they're going to take care of him monetarily. But that's the coldest name in college football right now. He could be a boxer. He could be a judge. Judge Trinidad Chambliss presiding. Trinidad Chambliss, coldest name, man. My Sixers lost a game versus the backups last night, and we were full strength. We got problems. Is it Nick Nurse or is it Joel Embiid? Because my youngsters are balling, but my youngsters sometimes go away. My VJ Edgecombe, sometimes he's super aggressive going for his, and then he goes away for a whole quarter. He's probably watching Joel Embiid hold the ball. We talked briefly about the young man that went pro and came back and played for Baylor. I don't think that's going to be an issue moving forward. He's not that good. He played, got 5 points, 4 rebounds, and 1 assist. So in this case, it's not that big of a deal. He's not killing the world. He didn't really play in the NBA game. He's not from the States. He's from overseas. So they let him slide. But I just think the principle of the matter is, if you go pro, there's no college. So again, these rules have all been changed. guys going JC getting their years back, guys transferring without penalty. They're going to change something pretty soon. They always say we can't do things because we might get sued. Well, right is right and wrong is wrong. If you're a professional, you can't be an amateur. If you're a man, you can't play with the women. If you transfer more than once, there has to be some type of penalty. I'm seeing kids that have left programs and coming back to the program. Circling back is crazy. We said, besides quarterback, what do you think is the most political position? Running back and receiver. Running back, because the game plan can be designed for you to win. Receiver, where the quarterback can make up his mind and not throw it to certain people. Especially with the new walkie-talkies inside the helmet. For all we know, the coach is saying, don't throw it to him. And I truly believe that was the downfall of the Kansas City Chiefs. When Taylor Swift was supporting Kamala Harris, while Patrick Mahomes' wife was supporting President Trump. It wasn't that Kelsey and Mahomes had issues. Their girlfriends did. Their women did. Which caused a rift at the house, and Patrick Mahomes was not to throw the ball to Travis Kelsey. For a long time. Until the girls made up. And then they're friends again. And now it's okay to throw it to him. That's my conspiracy theory on that. Oh, man. It is crazy out there. Portal madness. It's going to be going on for the whole off season, so I can't wait to keep watching it. In the meantime, I think I got the Patriots winning the whole thing. As a homer, I got the Eagles repeating. But as far as strength, complete team, right now, the Patriots, man, they're ahead of schedule. Crazy saying that, as bad as it has been for the last few years. And the portal is the portal. It is what it is, my brothers. All right, man, I got to get out of here. And I appreciate y'all tuning in and supporting the show. Once again, the show is brought to us by All In CDL Training, the future of commercial driving. The new year is here. If you set yourself a resolution to change your life, get your Class A license and be employable. 909-708-4861, www.allincdltraining.com, and the city of Long Beach. Also brought to us by Electro Gum. NIL partner with my son. Go to NIL, go to Electro Gum at Try Electro on Instagram. Use code Dragon41. That way my son gets credit and he gets paid. Electro Gum, energy gum to keep you alert and on the go. All right, man. I think that is all. Once again, y'all, peace and blessings. I will see you next week. Y'all are also invited to church on Sunday. If you would like to come by, 3960 East Gilman, 11 o'clock, I'll be teaching part 2 of Everything New in Yeshua. Because it's going to be about how if you clean your stuff out, don't drag that mess back in. Don't be dragging no dirt back in your house. Once you clean it up, keep it clean. Don't clutter it back up again. And you can use that in a number of ways. And I think you'll have a wonderful 2026 year. All right. All right, y'all. Y'all be good. Be easy. And I'll see you next time. Peace out. I'll put it in the chat right now. There you go. Appreciate that, bro.